Thank you, Ahmed. This is Zihan Sayyad. Thank you, everybody, for joining today. This demo is put together for one purpose, and one purpose only is to give you a high-level bird's-eye view of what exactly a business analyst is and how, as a business analyst, you can have a career, and what skill sets do you need to become a strong business analyst. And without further delay, let's jump into the demo. So basically, does anyone have an idea of what exactly a business analyst is?
No.
No, sir.
Okay. So at a very high level, business in a typical work environment, there are multiple departments, but in a very high level, yes.
We don't see any. Are you sharing any PPT or something?
Yes. Do you see my screen now?
No, I see your screen, but not any slides.
Oh, okay. Let me share.
Okay.
Can you see me now?
No. Only your screen. Left. Yeah. No. It's good.
Okay.
I'm muting myself.
Okay. So at a high level, you can split an organization into two halves. One is mainly called business, and the second half is called IT. When I say business, it means sales, marketing, finance, everything else is not IT related. It's called business, and then comes the IT. So basically, business don't talk in IT language, and IT doesn't understand business language. So that's why we have this role as a business analyst. They basically understand the IT and they understand the business as well. So when you start as a BA, your main job is to start understanding the business operations, how this organization is doing, whatever department you are facilitating at that point of time, how the sales is working, how the finance is working, and all that. IT is there just to support them. So that's why we have this role called business analyst. In a nutshell, it's a guy who's responsible to bridge the gaps between the two, to communicate with both sides. It's a liaison role. His job is to facilitate both sides. The second, one of the second quality that a good BA has to have is an enabler. He should be able to provide what each side wants to complete the puzzle they are trying to solve, and he is the change agent. Whenever the business wants to introduce a new software or a new method of doing business, he takes that change back to IT and makes sure the IT understands that change and either enhance the existing system, or create a new system, software system, application system that will facilitate their needs. There's a very a cartoon, a joke over here that since he is considered as a bridge maker, a liaison, he has to understand very correctly what exactly business wants, and that's so that he can go back and translate it correctly to the IT folks. Who is a business analyst? So the primary job function of a business analyst is to act as a liaison, a translator, a communication bridge between non-technical project stakeholders and the technical solution team. When we say non-technical project stakeholders, it means all the departments that we talked about earlier. It could be sales, it could be collection, it could be finance, it could be marketing, it could be, because IT supports every single function. So all those are your non-technical project stakeholders. You might be working with only sales for this quarter, but the next year, purchasing department wants to change their system or want to have a new system or whatever. So next quarter, you are working with purchasing department people to enhance or create a new system for them, and so on and so forth. Another responsibility of a BA is to provide decision support pertaining to acceptable risk through formal capture, analysis, and documentation for technical requirements.
Sishan, 1 second.
Yes.
Guys, there are a couple of you who has not muted yourself and the voice is getting disturbed. I see 510-953-8437. I don't know whose number is this. Could you please mute your phone?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, when you need to talk, you can unmute. 510-953-8437. Yeah, I see now it is mute. And there are more guys. I think I'm not able to find. If any one of you has not muted yourself, just mute your speakers, mic especially. When you need to talk, that time you can unmute and mute again. Zishan, a little. Can you talk a little bit loudly? Thank you.
Okay, sure. Okay, can you hear me better now?
Yes. Yes.
It's better for me. Yeah.
Okay. So your first lesson as a business analyst, always ask the questions. If you are not hearing me correctly, if there is something missing, you need to speak up. This is the biggest piece of advice I can give you as a future business analyst. If stay quiet is not an option for you guys. If something is not going right, you have to ask for it. Otherwise, you are shooting yourself in your foot. If you can't hear me, you can't understand me. If you can't understand me, you can't put the requirements right. If you can't put the requirements right, the system will never work right. So this happened as an accident, but it is a good lesson. Always speak up. So let's move on to the next slide. Other functions of a BA. There are those 3-4 things that we talked about are the primary functions. You cannot survive without those, but that's not all. You have to expect a lot more. Every organization is different. Every project is different. And your role will be tweaked a little bit every time with every new project. Some places you will be more like a moderator and work as a kind of a project coordinator as well as DA. Some places you will be working as a Scrum Master alongside as well as a BA. Because if it's an agile organization that works as an agile, then either PM or a BA will be a Scrum Master. You will be a team leader as well, because no one in your technical side understands the business and no one on the business side understands the technology. So for both sides, you know little bit more than about the other side. So then you will be a troubleshooter. Many times, the business sees you as the IT guru because they don't interact with the technical folks directly. They will all go through you. So for them, even when you don't know the solution, you will take the problem from them and get it resolved and bring it back to them. So for them, you are the troubleshooter. So basically, you have to keep brushing up your skills, IT skills, as you become more and more involved into the project. Sometimes those BAs are domain experts. They've been working for that particular non-technical business unit for so long that they become SME, subject matter expert or domain expert by themselves. And to some extent, for IT folks, they will always see you as the SME, because you go to the business, you talk to them, you bring the information back to them. So they are not talking directly to the business, you are on their behalf. So you are the first point of contact for IT as well as for business, whether they want to find out about more technical side or more about the business side. Also, in some situations, you do work as a project manager. anytime when your project manager is stepping out or you don't have a project manager, a PA becomes the project manager as well. This is not a formal method. This is not a formal practice, but informally, this happens more often than not. So I think these functions, you don't start with all those functions, but you have to develop those key skill sets, especially the number third, skilled listener. We just had a small incident, few minutes back, and that's where it is very important for a business analyst to be a very sharp listener. Many people have we are working in a very globalized world. Many people have different accents, and they also, especially on the business side, they use a lot of business plans, business jargons, and stuff like that. If you do not understand, please ask what exactly that means in this context. Sometimes things do make sense outside the scenario, but within that context, their meaning change. They have different meaning within that particular context. So it is very important as a business analyst to listen and clean up every ambiguity, all the riskier, not clear communication. You have to clean that up before you leave that meeting, before you complete your session with business. Because many times it won't be an option to go back and spend the whole day again with business on the same topic that they have covered few months back. What else? So basically, this is a small cartoon. The developer, the system returns data where the open data is before the form date and the close date is after the form date or open. So basically business and IT do not essentially speak the same language, and this is a very good example. The way they confuses the word, the way developer sees it, the way analyst sees it, you mean it return those events which are still active for that given date range. This is what exactly they were trying to say. And if you read what developer is reading, it doesn't make any sense. And you will run into those scenarios when you work as a business analyst. So another scenario that you will run into is you will hear that from business that this line of business wants something new very soon, very quickly, but they are so busy they don't have anybody to help you or any stakeholder to provide you the details. And how soon can you bring it into existence? Very typical business scenario. You will be asked more than you can deliver. You will be asked very illogical things, and your job in this scenario, in this cartoon, is to say, no, I cannot speak on your behalf, because if I speak on your behalf, then you will never accept. I mean, at the end of the day, it will not be what you have in your head. So we run into those scenarios, and as a strong business analyst, your job is to push back that no, you have to have a subject matter expert assigned to this project, otherwise this project will never fly. And as a business analyst, you will negotiate with business on this. You will involve management, your project manager and people on your side, so that it will not be a burden on you when things don't go well. So basically, high-level business process is you interview with the business users, and then you come back, do your documentation, prepare your notes, prepare your findings, take it back to business, let them review that, let them approve that, let them clean up that document, that requirements. Until or unless they 100% agree to every single thing you have put together in that document, you will not forward that document for the development work. Once that's been approved and signed, then basically the next phase is to forward it to their developers, and they will start coding accordingly. So, for any questions so far? Are we high level? We understand what a business analyst role is, and
Not till now.
anybody else? Okay, let's move on to the fundamentals of a business analyst. So, objective. We will cover the definitions of the business analysis and the role of the business analyst. We'll explore the key knowledge areas about business analysis. We'll define what are the requirements and what are the different types of requirements. Then we'll discuss the difference between how the requirements are elicited versus how the requirements are gathered and stuff like that. So in the beginning, all projects were like haphazard. There was, without a business analyst, companies will start with development team, and development team will start working with business. I have worked in the past with a project where there was no business analyst until 6 months. The developers were collecting the requirements and they were developing the code as well. And when after 6 months they realized that business is not getting anywhere with these developers, they called 2-3 business analysts to start taking care of that business. And it turns out it was nothing. There was no documentation, no sign-offs, no requirements. Everything was in developer's head and straight in the code. No cleanup, no review, no nothing. And guess what? The project was sacked after 3-4 months. So every project it's without a business analyst, it's basically like a battlefield. Business is saying one thing, and business don't like to be asked again and again. And developers don't understand business. They understand the coding language, but they don't understand the business. Especially in this global world, when your developers are sitting halfway across the world and your business sitting over here, and when you will meet the business, they often talk in very business language with all the business slangs and all those phrases and whatnot, which are very much used in business language only. And for somebody who's sitting across the world, never been exposed to the culture, the language, and everything else here, will never be able to understand completely what he's trying to achieve. And that becomes a battle for businesses and IT both. A lot of work was done in the past when there was no business analyst role, official role, but the productivity was always low because business is giving IT directly what they want in their own language, and IT understanding the best they could out of those business slangs and business phrases and put together software, and it fails or it struggles at least. So after that, an organization invested in project management practice, and they started planning the typical project lifecycle phases: plan, build, test, and implement. But still, this is not all. This is not enough. I think these stats are from 2010. I'm not 100% sure how old these stats are, but they are not very different now as well. Only 16.2% of the projects will be completed on time and on budget. When we say on time and on budget, if either one of the two is missing, the project is considered a failure. If you do not deliver on time, or if you are not delivering on budget, it's considered a failure. About 40 to 56% of the project conflicts can be traced to requirement error. So about 50% of the errors happen in requirement phase. That's completely and only the business analyst role, business analyst responsibility. So you are, as a business analyst, responsible for 50% of the failure of the projects if you don't do your job right. I don't think any other role is that much responsible for project success or failure. a developer, right? Because on every project there are multiple developers, multiple testers, but there are only very limited, if not one, maybe two business analysts. If it's a huge project, probably 2, 3. But as compared to developers in QA, you have 30, 20, 15 developers, same number of 10, 15 number of QAs. So your requirement goes all the way. I mean, what you tell them, basically they build on that. So you are the eyes and ears of IT, and same as for the business, because you're in between the both. So 50% you are responsible for 50% of the failure if you don't do your job right. Finding and fixing requirement errors consumes 75 to 85% of the project rework cost. So if the requirements are not captured correctly or elaborated correctly, 70 to 85% of the rework cost is because of fixing the requirements. So if you did not ask enough questions and you just capture high level of the requirement, the developer will not write the in-depth code that is needed to cover the entire requirement. It may cover half of it or whatever. So the 70 to 85% of the cost goes to reworking on those requirements. The average project exceeds in planned time schedule by 120%. So
hello, sir.
Sorry?
Yeah, just now you're telling that we have to fixing the requirement error. So we have to take a decision for the instant time. We get the time for to. No. No,
you don't get. Nothing is instant. I mean, you interview the business, you document those requirements, you send them back to them. They will review them, they will correct them, they will send it back to you. If it's a big project, and let's say there are multiple methodologies, each company has a methodology. They are going waterfall or they are going agile or whatever. It's an iterative process. You don't have to complete everything in the one shot. You have the room to make some mistakes, but your job is to transfer the liability, the risk of those mistakes by taking it back to business. Let them review, let them approve that. Once they sign it off, once they approve that whatever is written in the document is what they want, then the burden of proof, the burden of responsibility is not on a business analyst. It's on business because they approved it. Whether it's right or wrong, you need they looked into it and they approved it. So it's not one shot. You have the time to go and review again and again until you ran out of time or until they give you the approval.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. About 52.7% of the projects will cost 189% of their original estimate. So it's almost double. Half of the projects will end up with double the cost, whatever they estimated. About 30% of the projects are cancelled before completion. 30% of them will cancel before the completion. The example I gave you earlier, where the developers were writing the requirements, that's one of them. Because many people see it's simple, it's easy, it's simple, it's logical, but it's a huge responsibility and it needs a lot of skills. And in this training, we'll talk about those skills and those tools that will enable you to capture those requirements correctly and explain those requirements directly to the technical side. So in conclusion, typical projects expend least effort on requirement analysis, which is where most errors originate and whose error cost most to fix. So in conclusion, it's been changed in past few years, but this is the major failure. The single point of failure is requirements are not gathered correctly, requirements are not understood correctly, and that's why everybody did what they thought is right. And that's why the project's doomed. So now the new philosophy is to combine the business analysis with project management work. And they added 2 more steps. That's called describe and then define, before you plan and before you build and so on and so forth. This is where your major responsibility is. And this is from plan phase till implementation phase. That's where the major project manager's responsibility is. If you both work together, you will accomplish success. But any successful race, if you don't start at the right time, you will never finish at the right time. So this is the most important phase of a project success. Once you know what you are doing and you define and describe everything correctly, the rest is only management of time and labor. What does these words mean? So there are several other actors involved in a project. Systems analysts, system engineers, architects, business analysts, business systems analysts, analysts, programmers, and project managers. So basically each one of them are involved in some phases. Definitely there is a QA as well. All those actors are involved in various different phases, and you will have to work with almost all of them at some point or to some extent. IIBA is an International Institute of Business Analysis, and this is a body that defines the teaching and the coaching of BA, the curriculum of a business analyst, and also provides certifications for business analysts, just like PMI for project managers. So the set of tasks and techniques used work as a liaison among the stakeholders. We already talked about that. Understand the structure, policies, and operations of an organization. The second most important thing is to understand the business. What are the policies? Like if you're working in a healthcare, there are some healthcare codes that you need to understand that, okay, this project is because of this code has been changed, and whatever this code means. If you're working in an airline industry, there are some specific codes that FAA sends new regulations, and your business has to change the way they are doing business, and that means a change in the software or the applications they are using, and so on and so forth. And to recommend solutions that enable the organization to achieve its goal. Sometimes, as a business analyst, as an experienced business analyst, you have to make some suggestions to business as well. Sometimes business wants to create a whole new system when the old system is just need a little bit of TLC and it will perform the functions, or they're trying to keep the old system and its end of service life. Whatever the organization that you bought it from is going out of business or no longer supporting that version and whatnot, and then you have to go back to business. Okay, everything is looking fine on your end, but from this year or this month onward, they are no longer providing any service. So if the system ever breaks, you will not have any support from that company or whatever. That means either you have to move on to the next solution, next software, or upgrade this version or whatever. So you, as a business analyst, this is also become one of your responsibility to advise or recommend the best solution to the business goals. So after, overall, the definition of a business analyst is a business analyst works as a liaison among the stakeholders in order to elicit, analyze, communicate, validate requirements for changes to business process, policies, and information systems. Any question about so far? Okay. So this is, go ahead. Please go ahead. Okay. If you don't have any, these slides are just put together to give you a high-level understanding, as we said earlier, about the course we're going to cover. We'll have a lot more in detail practice and understanding of what the business analyst role is. We'll have assignments, take-home studies. We'll discuss the tools. We'll practice on some tools as a business analyst. We'll talk about the methodologies you will be using as a business analyst during this course, and we'll cover end-to-end from this project initiation till implementation. What role do you play in each phase of the project? What artifacts you need to provide, BRDs, FRDs, SRDs, how those are written, how different methodologies will change the desired documentation, expected documentation, how you will assist or facilitate QA, how you will assist developers, how you will assist business, how you will assist other actors in the project. So this is just a high level to give you a understanding of what the BA role is about, and then we'll cover we'll share the outline, the complete outline, what we will cover in each class and everything else, so that you can make up your mind. So I'll open the floor for Q&A if you guys have any questions.
No, sir.
Okay. Either I explained everything so well, or I confused you so bad that you don't have any more questions. Shabaz, Hasib, Kashif.
Hi, Disha. Shabaz here.
Hey, Shabaz.
Yeah, what kind of tool we use in business analyst? I mean, like softwares.
Okay. There are some very good questions. There are some very basic tools that you will use as a business analyst. Can you put yourself on mute, please? Okay. So there are a lot of tools in the market, but as a BA, you are not a tool-specific person. There are a few tools that you have to have, like Visio, but you can to put the process flow diagrams and charts and stuff, business flow diagrams and stuff like that. But if you will talk about other tools, you can do the same in PowerPoint. You can do the same even in the Word and create business flow charts and diagrams and stuff like that. But we'll cover Visio, because this is the official tool. We'll talk about SharePoint. SharePoint is used a lot because as a document library, because when you create documents, you do not save on your hard drive. That's not the best practice. All your documentation is always available on the SharePoint, and that's industry standard. So we'll cover how the SharePoint works from the user perspective, not from a developer perspective, or admin perspective. You will not be asked to admin the SharePoint. You will be asked to manage your own documentation in and out and stuff like that in the SharePoint. There are some testing tools which you may or may not need, but we'll talk about Mercury Quality Center and stuff like that. If we are, definitely we will cover Rally, which is one of the tools for Agile. And mainly we'll focus on Agile in this training, because Agile is the methodology for project management or work these days. All the projects in the industry are either all companies are adopting Agile or already in Agile, practicing Agile. So I will in detail will go in Rally, how the Rally works. and in detail we'll cover Agile as well. Other than that, there are not many tools that you need. What you need is, we'll share some samples, document samples and stuff like that, how the BRDs are done and stuff like that, but every company has their own template. So high level, those templates will match, but in detail, every company uses their own template. So we'll give you enough to understand how they are written. Whatever template they will throw at you, you should be able to handle that after this training.
To add on top of what Zishan said, as a business analyst, you should not be proficient in any other tools apart from what he mentioned. The main job of a business analyst is to facilitate you coordinate between business and developers. So all you need to know is Microsoft Word, Outlook, these tools, MS Office. That's the main day to day you use these tools, and the one which Zishan mentions. But the main concept here is, lot of people will get confused, like BA means what they will do. You will understand the business and you will take the work from the developers or from the team. Just if we take a rough example, like take an example of construction of a house. The engineer or supervisor of whoever will be constructing the house, he doesn't know how to do, he is not a plumber, he is not a carpenter, he is not a construction guy, but he will make sure everything is on place, whatever it needs to be a good home. Like same way in software industry, as a business analyst, you need not to be knowing each and everything, but you should be able to take the work from the developers and understand the work from the business, like that.
Very good example, Ahmed. Let me elaborate that as well. Like if you are building a house, you hire a general contractor. The general contractor will go to the city to get all the permits, and in those permits, city will tell him, okay, the minimum requirement for a bedroom is to have a door and have to have a window. If you do not have a window, it will never be approved as a bedroom. Whether you have a closet or not, it's okay. But if you consider that room as a bedroom, you have to have a window. That's what a requirement and a code, construction code. He doesn't need to understand anything about electrical work. He doesn't need to understand anything about plumbing work, but he knows the city requirement. That's what he collects from the city. He doesn't need to know anything about the foundation of the roof or whatever. He just needs to know what the city code is and what the customer wants. He will put them together and see there shouldn't be any conflict between the homeowner requirement and the city code. If the homeowner wants something that's not permissible in that city code, he should go back and tell the homeowner, okay, you can't have this, your city does not allow this, and so on and so forth. And then same way he needs to explain each and every person who's coming to work on that project. As an electrical guy, electrician can do all the wiring, all the electrical work in the house, but where he needs the fridge, where the customer wants the fridge, in which corner of the kitchen, he doesn't know that. Only you know that, right? So you need to specify him. I want the customer wants the kitchen fridge in the kitchen in that corner. So he will make sure that there is an electrical outlet put over there, so that when he will plug in, he can plug in his fridge over there. Same thing with the window guy. He can make the most beautiful windows, but he doesn't know where those windows should be in this house. Only you know where those windows should be. So your job is to tell that window guy, a customer wants a window in this room, he wants a window here, and in that room he wants a window over there. What size window, how the window should work, and all that, business will tell you. But you need to communicate that to the window guy. Same with every other person. So this is exactly what you will be doing as a business analyst. Any questions?
Yeah. Does it have a scope in the market?
Sorry, say that again.
Does the BA has a scope in the market, like in a company? At what percentage of
Okay.
what percentage of person they find the company?
Okay. Well, without a business analyst, there is no project. You can offshore the development work, you can offshore the QA work, but you can even offshore the project management work. But as a business analyst, you cannot offshore the business analyst. This role has to stay here, and without a business analyst, you have no requirements. Without no requirements, there is no work. If you don't know where you're going, you can't go, you can't reach there, right? This is the job of a business analyst, to make sure where you're going. And then a plan, and then project management involved in how fast you can go, how many stops you can take, and stuff like that. So it's very important role, and the best part about this role is you can't offshore this role. So job security is there, stability is there, and with time, if you stay with one company, you often become the subject matter expert as well, and you become very irreplaceable if you work if you perform the right job and learn as you go, and you will learn a lot more than anybody in the company, because you are dealing with business directly and you are dealing with the technology. Many business analysts often become project managers after a few years, and they become business analysts / project managers. So they will manage the project, as well as they will have a team of junior business analysts under them, who will be collecting requirements for them and stuff like that, and he will be overseeing those young business analysts. So it has a huge scope, and it will stay in this country.
Yeah, Zishan, as a business analyst, we will be having meetings every day, right, with the developers?
Not every day. It depends. It depends on the project. Some projects are very, very, very fast-paced. When government change some regulations right away, and they want, mainly in healthcare, and they want them to be implemented very fast, you will have. But I can guarantee you one thing: you will have a lots of meetings, a lots of discussion. And as a business analyst, your communication skills will improve very, very much, very quickly, and you will be having a lot of interpersonal skills, because you will be talking with business one side, you will be talking with developers on the other side, you will be talking with technical folks on the other side. So yes, you will have a lot of communication. I won't say meetings, but you will have a lot of communication.
So basically, on behalf of everyone, we need to speak how much work we have done and how much we have to complete it.
That is a mixed thing. Sometimes the project manager is responsible for that. Sometimes it's an agile project, that's a Scrum Master role, and Scrum Master is not a different role. It's an additional role for a PA or a BA. So usually a BA becomes a Scrum Master in the team, and that's what he's been doing, telling statuses and collecting updates and bringing new work to the team and stuff like that. So yes, he will be talking to everybody every day, or most of the days.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions, guys? So, if no more questions, you can reach out to Ahmed. He is managing this training and everything, and he will provide you the schedule for the classes and stuff like that. And we'll see how soon we can start the batch, depending upon Ahmed's decision. So Ahmed, it's back to you.